Yesterday's vlog had us exploring the Skulker, this kind of scout vehicle in Battletech. And we were kind of talking about some of the tactica, some of the thoughts on including it in a list. And that leads into today's tactica vlog regarding speed, because this is something that I touched on and I was thinking about, but I didn't want to jump in and pull away from kind of that unit analysis. But I think it's important to jump into because especially with vehicles, yes, with mechs, but especially with vehicles, speed and getting hit and utilizing the fact that you can quickly stack multiple modifiers plus range, utilizing them in a scout role or utilizing them in a fire distraction type role. So we have something fast. Let's just say a vehicle. Lower battle value buy-in, but susceptible to motive hits, susceptible to certain crits, versus a mech. You've at least got to chew through that armor before we look at motive hits. And of course, terrain, depending on the terrain, depending on the rule set, vehicles can have a harder time navigating than mechs that just kind of stomp through it. But essentially, we're going to take a template right now. And this could be something that you could build yourself. This could be a hover. This could be a fast vehicle. It's a template. We're going to take a fast vehicle. We're going to give it a medium laser. We're going to give it some short-range missiles. Or maybe you're looking at a medium laser and an LRM 5-pack. Some weapons on it. Utilizing this. Now, there's two options in utilizing this. We're going to send it up the flank, left or right side of the hex map. Let's just say my left side, your right side, right? Sending up the side means literally using that physical side of the hex map or the table. I can't be attacked in that direction. So if I'm sending it up that side of the table, that means for the most part, only units on that side or in the middle of the table can attack me. And units that are located in the middle of the table, they better have long range. Anything on my right side is not going to be able to reach me. So this is a way, rather than zipping up the center of the table, if I zip up the center of the table, now on the center of the table, anything I engage is going to shoot me. Anything on the left is going to shoot me. Anything on the right is going to shoot me. Long range. If I continue in the center of the table, next turn, movement on the left side and right side towards the center, meaning everything could be potentially shooting me. So that's one of the reasons why we like to zip up the flanks. Now we're in the back field. We're in the deployment zone. We're zipping around. We're recon. We're looking for LRM missile carriers. We're looking at various options. Timing is important. Timing is important. At the beginning of the game, if my lances and my vehicles, they're in my deployment zone and we're moving out, if I zip so far ahead, then there's nothing in support. What we'd like to do is have my lances moving forward and something working up the flank. And it could be one thing, it could be three things, could be some warriors, could be some hovers, right? Depends on the battle value, depends on what you want to do. We're just looking template right now. You're thinking of the toys in your collection, the tools in your toolbox that you're going to utilize. And if you don't have these things yet, then certainly you can look to add those miniatures to your collection. So we're exploring this now. I'd like to time it where when my lances, when my tanks hit contact, center field with my opponent, because I'm advancing, they're advancing. At that point, that's where we break out with the flank and we move into the deployment zone. Because now, ideally, my opponent has to make a choice, right? Fire shots on Fritz's incoming stuff or try to blow up this scout car, this skirmisher, this hover, this warrior, this expendable something fast. Could even be a mech, right? Could be a mech. In terms of doing that, this is the tactica. If I stay completely out of range, I mean, imagine, let's look at something kind of choices, right? I can't force my opponent to do something, but I can dangle the carrot. I can give them a choice. Maybe they'll take the choice. If it's someone like me, if you give me tabletop glory, even if I kind of know better, I'm going to go for it. I have to, right? Just for that moment of tabletop immortality. I have to. But given a choice. Other times you might have a very tactical player, a great 40K player that I love playing against him. He's literally like a scientifical genius, and he analyzes everything. He's unstoppable with Tyranids. It's just crazy. I owe a lot of Tyranid Tactica to him, and I'll often throw up my space bugs against his space bugs. He just takes me apart on the math. It's crazy. Now, that's not my play style, but it's amazing to see that and realize, like, hey, people see things differently on the tabletop game. All I can do is offer risk versus reward and see if they take it. So let's set up this situation. You've got a longbow. There's a longbow in the back, and it's going to LRM fire. It's going to do some indirect. It's going to do whatever. If I zip something fast back there, and it's out of range of the longbow, hey, that might be kind of smart, right? But the longbow is not going to fire at it. It can't fire at it. However, if I zip it up in the back deployment zone and I'm just at long range band, I don't want to be at medium, I don't want to be at short, then it's not an equation. It'll get wiped out. My whatever vehicle will get wiped out. If I'm at that long range band, especially if I'm crossing some open terrain, to make it look like, hey, I'm trying to hide so you can't see me, you don't have a spotter. Uh-oh, this is the only place I can cross to get further into your deployment zone. But I am specifically, deliberately at long range. So now if that longbow fires, it's at long range with the LRMs. It's not moving, so there's no modifiers, walk or run. And I'm moving as fast as I can, trying to stack those modifiers. If you needed 10s or 12s to hit, would you take it with the longbow? You'd say, well, I've got 220 packs. Push the 25 packs also, because I can push a little heat. If any one of those contact, I'm going to cripple or maybe even destroy that unit. Now, is that a risk worth taking? I would try. I would probably shoot for it because I just luck of the dice. But tactically speaking now, if nothing else is going on the table, that's a great shot to take. You just take it. Even if I need 12s, I'll just take it. But if I had a choice between my lances advancing, right? So I'm advancing my lances. This longbow, this turn is now ready, saying, hey, I'm going to indirect fire or direct fire on Fritz's lances. But he's got this fast-moving hover, right? He's got a fast-moving hover up there. Do I kind of take those shots and take that out where now it's not going to be in my backfield, but more importantly, it's going to be an initiative sink down? I think I'll go for it, right? So that's one turn of longbow firepower possibly eaten up. So the tactica that we're looking for when you're zipping up the side and you cross over into the deployment zone, I'm trying to get things to shoot at me, but I'm trying to stay far away. I'm trying to stay fast moving, that it needs the highest calculation and absolute luck to hit me. If I can get 2 or 3 mechs or 2 or 3 vehicles to zap at me, those are shots not going down the table to the rest of my units. However, again, this only works if the synergy of both is happening at the same time. If I'm zipping in the back and there's nothing else pushing forward, then of course they're going to zap at me. And whether they hit or miss, that's just a free shot. That's just free stuff. We want to give them the choice. So that tactica could potentially, I don't think I'd use the Skulker or a Swiftwind Scout car necessarily for that with the electronic suites and other things if we're playing with those rules. But there is a lot of hover stuff out there. There is a lot of fast-moving stuff out there. Even something as simple as 2 or 3 warriors at low elevation zipping through. That's got some bite, right? That's got some bite to it. There's a lot of tactica that you can fill in to utilize these things, utilizing speed correctly. Distance, speed in Battletech.